Hey everyone! I made a direct democracy tax application idea. I've been working on this idea for maybe 2 years, which is essentially kind of like our current form of government may not last, you know? There's always an end to everything. So I like to think about what might come next. And I was brainstorming about what could apply to everyone, what everyone can agree upon, right? And I settled on a direct democracy. And direct democracy is a political philosophy, also known as pure democracy. Okay? Okay? Direct democracy is a form of direct participation of citizens in democratic decision making, in contrast to indirect or representative democracy, which is what we have now. Yeah. So, the intention of my idea is to give the people the power to choose where they can allocate their tax contribution for the benefit of the country. Okay? So, essentially, businesses, corporations, and individuals, they all pay taxes. Corporations, businesses, and individuals all pay taxes. Percentage based, equal across classes. So let's just say 10%. 10% for individuals, 10% from businesses, 10% from corporations of total income, their taxes. So some people may argue that the rich should pay more, but given the way that our government is acting right now, I don't blame them for not wanting to pay their taxes. If it's going to be sent and used for harm, for example, I don't, why should they? Owners of businesses must pay for themselves and their separate business. Therefore, they are contributing more taxes based on total income of said individual and business entity. No tax return. Everything will be used appropriately. You can contribute more if desired. Federal, state, and local government assess baseline frequently and make needs-based adjustments to areas needing help. So, I guess it's once the citizens choose where their taxes go, right? Then what happens to our government? I believe that they should represent institutions and areas of society that need extra help. So they're the ones going to nonprofits. They're the ones going to the hospital. They're making the assessment in agricultural scenes everywhere, essentially, to see who needs money and who does not, essentially. And they are the ones informing the citizens where our taxes should go, rather than deciding for the majority where the taxes should go. Okay? And I wrote reparations versus tax-free for life for natives and descendants of previous African American slaves. And I wrote, let them choose whether they want the reparations or tax-free for life. So that was kind of the solution that I had for natives and descendants of previous African American slaves. Okay? A way to kind of fix that generational gap. And I haven't decided for how long we pay them back. I think we should pay them back for the 3 generations. That's just my opinion. Tax-free for your whole life, tax-free for your children, just an idea. Anyway, I have the idea preset, so now that it's half of the taxes go towards basic necessities such as healthcare, food and agriculture well, indoor farming can... Well, indoor farming is actually important because less need for import, environmentally conscious. Healthcare, doctors, nurses, patients, facilities. And I wrote clinics, hospitals, and outpatient. Okay. Education. Teachers, maintenance, schools. Infrastructure. Electricity, water, architecture, maintenance, and waste management. Social security, I wrote a question mark. Allow access to personal social security as needed immediately. This is in the case where, like, if you are homeless, for example, and you were working before and you have social security set up for you, you have some money saved up, you should have access to that money if you need it. That's just my opinion. National debt and shelter assistance. The intention is to lower the pricing of rent and mortgage until it's affordable. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I mean, obviously this is like a good intention, but I don't remember the exact train of thought that I had when I was writing that. But this is essentially for homeless people. Since they are citizens as well, we should be able to take care of them. And then the rest of the taxes will be the individual's choice based off values. So this is the other 50%. So this is basically everything that everyone disagrees about. This is where all the fighting is. So to eliminate the arguing and misrepresentation, just allow the people to decide for themselves where they want their money to go to. Even if it's 50% of their taxes, that's more power than we had before. A lot more power than we had before. So you can put it more towards necessities: food, healthcare, education, infrastructure, shelter. And for food, canteens, healthcare, abortion clinics, parental leave, home health, occupational healthcare, mental health crises. Unfortunately, these are things that people argue about, but if you want to put your contribution towards here, you can. Education, research. For some reason, people don't want money to go to research. Infrastructure, local, state, public transportation. And more homeless shelters. Accessible money for citizens in the event of sudden illness, disability, veteran status, unemployment, natural disaster, accidental physical destruction, funerals, all this, like, emergencies. If you want to put your money down for emergencies for your fellow citizens, you can. Libraries. Libraries for books, libraries for tools. So you can borrow a shovel rather than buy a shovel. You can borrow some cones, you can borrow beach equipment, I don't know, whatever. Just an idea that I had. Environment. Green city, composting trees, ocean cleanup, clean energy research, waste recycling research. Reparations. Natives, historical inclusion, free healthcare, land, organization, and preservation. Descendants of African American slaves. Education, business, food, healthcare, shelter, and I want to write heritage. Allow government pays for ancestry, for knowledge about roots, family roots. As we know, through slavery, there were families who were broken apart. Some were sold here, some were sold there. So I think a way to kind of give back is also to bring those families back together. And also kind of just give them more knowledge. Who are you really? Give them that information. What happened to you and your family and your ancestors during that time? And I don't know how ancestry works exactly, but I think the more people who participate in ancestry, the more information there is, and you can just make those connections. And the government is responsible, I think, for allowing that to happen. So those are part of reparations. International. Aid, donations, and reparations. So aid would be for issues, ongoing issues around the world. We can send money to any country that you believe needs more aid. Donations, that can be any country that you believe deserves your donations. And reparations. These are countries that we ourselves are involved with that deserve some sort of payment or some sort of anything to make things better. So we have Palestine, Japan, Congo, Afghanistan, Iran, Yemen, Nicaragua. You know, just ideas. And like with international, if the citizens themselves are the ones sending out money, it just shows what the citizens are actually about, what we believe in. And it'll mean more to the citizens of other countries that the United States is aiding through the people rather than government representatives acting on our behalf, you know. So that's just what I think could happen. Citizenship, immigration assistance, orphans. Orphans get healthcare, food, shelter, education. Children under 18, education, healthcare, food. So this is essentially students within elementary, middle, and high school. Equal sports opportunity. This is kind of referencing to trans rights, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little ignorant about, but from what I understand, most of the arguments come from sports and representation. So whether like your testosterone levels or estrogen levels impact how you play in sports, or whether you can compete in chess, which is like the stupidest, chess, sports, just equal sports opportunity for all. Guns. I am anti-gun, open carry, but I am pro-range, and I am pro-hunting. With the restrictions, of course. So you can rent out a gun and use it, and I think that would be a good compromise that, like, yes, you can, hold guns and stuff and shoot things if you so choose, but you're renting the gun, you're not going to be open carrying. Security. Digital security, security and privacy, inmate reintegration. So I think that prisoners, I'm going to write prisoner instead of inmate. Prisoner reintegration to society. Because they're still human beings, right? Even if they've made mistakes. But I think that's another conversation for another day. But inland defense, Navy, Air Force, military, Marines. Sorry. Okay. And fine. I will write police. But this is under value-based, right? So if you don't want to put your money towards the police, you don't have to. And we'll see what that ends up looking like at the end if every citizen in the United States is voting with their tax dollars how much they want to contribute towards the police, We will see for ourselves. Okay? So, that's the idea for that. I wrote the national overview. So we'll have a baseline tax distribution outline, like a graph, right? That shows where people are putting their money, locally, state, and national. So you get to see what your county believes in, what your state believes in, what the country believes in, based off their taxes. Aspects that require more. This is educational based from the government telling us where we need to put more money and why. Where will it be used for? What exactly are our tax dollars being used for and why? And timeline. This is downloadable. This is just timeline like March of 2025 or something like that, you know? And will it be monthly? It'll be a yearly, monthly or yearly. I haven't decided yet. This is just hypothetical. Personal overview. Your driver's license. Your social security overview. How much you've saved and how much you've obtained. Because in this hypothetical view, you can take money out. Tax-free or taxpayer status. And this is important because this is about, right, going to taxes contributed. I'm just going to put this over here, actually. Move here. Yes. So, tax-free or taxpayer status and taxes contributed. Additional or required. So, if you're tax-free, this required aspect will not be relevant to you. But if you want to pay additional donation or tax, you can as an individual. All right? And emergency taxes obtained. This is for people who obtained emergency taxes. Remember that concept, that idea that you can put down money for emergencies for your fellow citizens in case of sudden illness or death or funeral or destruction, right? For whatever reason, this is emergency taxes obtained. Requests. Submission for ideas and submission for emergency. So a submission for ideas allows the citizens to kind of participate in government actively and kind of just submit what they think can make things better for the benefit of the entire nation. Because I'm sure we all have great ideas, right? And submission for emergency. This requires the amount required, proof, and whether it's immediate or eventual. Proof being photo or video submission, like of your house or paperwork or something. Eventual or immediate. Time for eventual prioritization. So this allows us to prioritize where the money's going. Laws and regulations. This is just good to have on an application, like say like it's a phone application, and you can kind of pull up the actual law on your phone through a government official website where you can also control your taxes, and we have local, state, and federal laws and regulations. We can see updates and we can see debates and discussions here about local, state, and national. And with discussion, you can be either public or anonymous. So yeah, this is my direct democracy idea. I don't think it's not my intention to make authoritative decisions regarding gun rights, abortion, healthcare, education, housing, military, policing, and business affairs. I think that the people are capable of making decisions on their own and have the opportunity to be involved with such decisions, as opposed to the risk of misrepresentation. I'm reading this thing that I wrote, a little speech. are a little whatever. Please excuse me. I'm so arrogant. Okay, anyway. With this new power comes the great responsibility for each individual to make an informed decision for what they believe is best for the country and for themselves. I believe that it is time for us to represent ourselves while politicians may assess and make suggestions for areas that are struggling. Nurses assess the baseline through information, determine the diagnosis or problem, plan SMART goals, implement treatment, and reassess for improvement. So what is our baseline? Pain and hunger, rent and bills, hate crime and gun violence, segregated sports, gentrification of communities, redlining, homelessness, white-collar crime, misrepresentation, lack of privacy, exhaustion, mental health, addiction, and suicide. With this idea, the possibilities are individual power and choice, government transparency, efficiency, opportunity, freedom, justice, healing, time, and change. So, I don't know. We are one nation under God, I believe. Not to assume that other countries are not under the same God, but what makes us different? Our diversity. We are the melting pot. If we can achieve peace in this nation, I believe we can achieve peace on this planet. Please take this opportunity for change into your consideration, and let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.